In this module, we will make the player character react to hazards in the environment. These reactions will occur as a stunned hit reaction when initially taking damage, and finally, a death state upon taking even more damage. The first thing we're going to need to have the player take some damage is the source of that damage in the game level. So let's go back to look at our game level here. And we have all these background large sprites we put in. It's kind of obscuring our view of the playable area that we want to build out with the smaller tiles. So I'm going to go to our maps, or rather our levels tab, and I'm going to add, let's see, a new map here. We're just going to call this Vista. This will have all of our large environment sprites. It'll be a sub-level here. So I'm going to quickly grab each of these. Let's see if I can do this. Each of these sprites here, the large ones, and add them all to the Vista. Just right-click on that sub-level, and I will move selected actors to level. I'll save both, and then I will just hide the Vista, which gives us back our playable space. Okay, so right about here we can try putting in some spikes as a source of our damage. Just a little bit of room for the player to safely stand on either side of this gap between these two pieces. And we're going to import another sprite, or not import, actually it is already imported. We'll just grab it here from our environment sprites area. Somewhere on this sheet there was a spike. Let's see if we can find it. Here we go. This one right here, environment tile 65. I'll drag it into the world. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make this area, we can see the lower part of the spike sprite is 32 by 32. The spikes go above it. So let me make sure, if I go back to perspective mode, make sure these are still all lining up along the Y plane. They look like they are. There's our collision. We can actually see it here. So since we want the spike area to be the dangerous area, let's go edit the sprite a little bit. Double click here, go into edit collision, and we'll grab these vertices and we'll just drag this down there so the actual spike parts aren't walkable collision. So I'll save that. Now if we look back here we can see it's almost right. Looks like it's a little bit off. We go back to front view. Okay. And back to perspective. There we go. The collision looks good now. So the next thing we need to do is we need to make this an actor. We aren't going to actually use sprites. I'm just sort of trying to show the placement that we're going to have in the game level. So let's set up a new environmental hazard actor here in our content browser. We'll go down under blueprints and we'll do right click, blueprint class, actor. We'll name this BP underscore spikes. And let's see, we'll place our root here with the scene component. Name this root. Drag this up there to make it the new root. And we'll add a sprite component, paper sprite. And we will choose our, let's see if I can make this work. It was 65. There we go. There is our sprite. Compile and save that. Now we're going to go and add a damage volume to this. So we're going to go and add a collision, box collision. I'll move this to front view as well. There we go, in lit mode so I can see the sprite. So I'm going to move this up so it overlaps the dangerous spiky area. Let's see if I change the box extent to 16, not sure how big this is, 12 units maybe? Even smaller, 6. And I'll just keep tweaking these extents and shifting the box until it covers just the pixel dimensions of the spikes. And there we go on the Y. That looks good. We can set up an event when it overlaps something. Actually, let's check the collision on this. Overlap all dynamic. That sounds good. Generate overlap events is true. That's all good. Okay. So we want on component begin overlap. That gives us our on component begin overlap event tied to the collision box. So from here, we're going to do just a cast. The other actor will cast it to player character. Let's see. There we go. And if it is the player character, we can get this player character reference and we can call an event which we haven't created yet in the player character. That will be our hit reaction event that will drive all the animations, health damage, all that kind of stuff. So that sets this up. So we'll just compile and save that. So to do a quick test, we can open up the player character again, and down at the bottom, we will create our event. We'll just do a custom event. We'll call it get hit. And just to test it to make sure it's working, we'll print a string. It says hit. So we compile and save this. And then back in our map, put this into front view again so we can easily drop the new actors in. We don't need these sprites. We're going to delete them. And we will place our new sprite actor class in here, which I'll use to give us a dangerous section of the level by cloning this a few times. Now I'll go back to the BP Spikes event graph. Now that the get hit event's there, we should be able to call it this way from the cast. There we go, call function get hit. Compile and save that, close it up, and we'll hit play. And we should see get hit appear on the screen when we hit the spikes, or hit, there we go. So we know we're hitting the spikes. So that's the first step in setting up our damage actor in the environment.